Thank you, Chair. Bwana CS, thank you very much. And I have to say that we've been through quite a journey as a committee, and we do appreciate, of course, the work of disaster management that was done. And I think the last time the CS was here, whether he wanted to admit it or not, we did say that in the case of Solai, it was not a natural disaster. A lot could have been averted if things were done right. So I think the focus for us here in this committee has to do with the people who are affected and the people who died and the orphans who've been left behind who are not adequately addressed. And I think in the letter that was written to you last, there was a question of to propose modalities of compensation as one of the areas which we wanted you to address. But that aside, your first report, the CS did bring us his first report. It did adopt an interagency preliminary report. And in the way forward, there was a proposal that a further investigation would be done. So I don't know, out of prudence, if you established if there's a further investigation that has been done, but maybe just to save you on that, we do have a report that did come, a multi-agency report, a very detailed one, a good one, that was done between NEMA and the National Construction Authority. I don't know if you're aware. I don't know if you've seen it. Together with also the water, the NWCPC, they did present a further report, an audit that was done that has potential far-reaching consequences. So I don't know if you're aware, Bwana CS, about this. And I hope you appreciate why we wanted you in person here. Because given the gravity of this situation in Solai, we also want to make a change in the country. Things have been done, so casually over the period over years. We want to change that, Bwana CS. And why we wanted you here personally is because the buck stops with you in the end. And the concerns they're raising here is because when you hear it yourself, then you're going to do something about it. And the 30 days you're talking about cannot work. It cannot work because now cogs are turning, the wheels are turning. Several agencies have already done so much from us pushing them. So 30 days just cannot work. And the worst thing is that we actually have orphans sitting somewhere. Nobody has decided or said to us, how are these orphans going to be taken care of in future? So Bwana CS, this is the angle we are taking, and this is why we are literally looking at you now, and we are happy that you came, and we wanted to speak to you in person, so that at least we can have now clarity and direction, and also act fast, because there's no time. Thank you.
Dulo.
Thank you, Chair. I'm sorry for coming late, because I've just come back from the county. I was there over the weekend. Now, just to contribute to the discussion, although I know I didn't get the part of the presentation, I just wanted to make one observation, CS. First, I'm Fatuma Dulo, Senator Isiolo, and a member of this committee. For the record, why do you want me to say deputy? Now, just from the observation of Solai, CS, and first and foremost, thank you very much for your effort and the team, especially in terms of intervention. You are on top of things, and I know I've interacted with your officers very well. But my disappointing point from Solai and the rest of the areas that I actually man in terms of my position. For your information, I've been in provincial administration for a very long time. But what happened in Solai, it's really embarrassing to the government. Because when I was in provincial administration in terms of national government are the ones on top of things. They are the representative of the government on the ground. And I'm seeing there's a bit of laxity in that, in the sense that when we went on the ground, it's like they are, they don't know how they have positioned themselves. There were 3 lists that were prepared. One from Red Cross, another one from provincial administration, another one from Patel himself. My question is, provincial administration is the representative of the government, and they are the ones to consolidate and make sure that the citizens are protected and there is one list. We have representative of government up to grassroots level, which is assistant chief. I know you are doing a good job. And it's not only Solai, Bwana CS. In Isiolo, we had education day, county education day. In that meeting, in as much as our county commissioner is doing a lot of work, none of the chiefs attended that meeting. And education is an important docket, is an important policy of the government, where those chiefs are the ones who should make sure that the policy of government in terms of education is being driven and it's being sent to the people. So I am requesting you, Bwana CS, kindly crack your whips. Let the chiefs and assistant chiefs and the provincial administration on the ground support you guys and support the government in terms of policy making. Secondly, now that I'm able to talk to you, I live in Lavington. There is a big problem. There is a guy who is, we are being told, is highly connected. I don't know how highly connected he is. He is running a restaurant called Mamadu. That is a restaurant which is a bar and a restaurant. It is a church on Sunday. We've reported to county government. We have reported to the police in Mudangari. No action is being taken. We can't rest over the weekend. We can't rest on Friday. We are unable to sleep. Some people, they have small kids. Kindly, there is insecurity because the gate of that restaurant and my gate is next to each other. You will find that over the weekend there are thousands and thousands of vehicles. There is insecurity there. We'll write to you as a resident.
Point of order, Chair. Just allow me this. The CS had said that he doesn't have a lot of time.
No.
And we have a lot of issues
With all due respect,
that have not been
Senator,
responded to in terms of the Solai tragedy.
No.
And I think, Chair, I would want you to give directions because I would want to focus on the issues of Solai. There are serious questions that have been answered, and we don't want them to be diluted.
No,
I'm okay with my colleague.
Senator Olekina is out of order because I'm on the floor.
Order.
No, he can't interrupt my discussion. I haven't interrupted
please,
him.
Senator Dulo.
No, it's not possible, Chair.
What are you saying no to? I haven't said anything. Wait.
But why is he interrupting me and I'm the one on the floor?
I know. Please, members.
No, I can't allow that. So, Bwana CS, I'm reporting to you. The residents are going to report to you. Please, there is insecurity in that area. Kindly assist us. Thank you.
Members, we came in early so that we could get this matter addressed. I would hate us to proceed in that manner. Tafadhali.
Yeah, just a quick clarification.
Please.
I just want a quick clarification.
Yeah, but remember, Senator Sakaja, that there are a lot of questions that have not been addressed.
No, you can't interrupt me. With all due respect, I was on the floor.
Chair.
Dulo, you're out of order, please.
No, I am not.
You're still talking and I'm talking. I'm the chair. Please,
Chair,
please.
Just to make it clear,
calm down.
to the CS, as we just get back to the issue, when we talk about the matter of complicity and officers of government, representatives, the county commissioner is a representative of the president at the county. When we hear reports and when we go and investigate and we're told that they're walking around with Patel's money, forcing residents to sign, to indemnify themselves, 35 million, it is really a serious issue. We are shocked. And just to make it clear, it's not that we're against government officials. In fact, we're also investigating MPs because the accusation is on government officials, it's on members of parliament, it's on members of county assembly, leadership around even the clergy who have been complicit, going around with 35 million of Patel, dishing out according to him. Then you ask yourself, okay, if those 35, how much is he actually giving the wananchi? So trust issues arise. And when people on the ground lose confidence and trust on national government officials, I think that's something that we should all be concerned about, because then it gives a credibility issue even on other matters after the fact.
I want Waziri to finish because we have kept him here for long. Senator Malakai, there's something you have brought to my attention, and I want, it's a minute each, please, so that I can also wind up.
Yes, Chair, thank you. What I raised about, and also Senator Kasanga raised about the orphans of Solai and what the government intends to do with these orphans. Being Kenyans, being Kenyan children, the government should do something to help these kids out.
Thank you.
And two, on a traditional point of view, burials that were carried out in Solai. Kenyan or African traditions say when somebody dies, they should be taken home, their rites be performed, and those people buried, their souls rest in peace. Who are these people? Where were they buried? Is there some plan to transport them to their respective homes so they can be buried peacefully? Thank you.
That is clarified that there are reports that several people buried in Patel's farm who had no relatives. That's the question Senator is asking. Yes, Olekina, a minute. Thank you.
Chair, I want to state that even I could be raising issues of the Mau forest here, but I think this platform is very clear on the issue of Solai. Bonasias, I want to take you back to your issues on your report, and I want us to be very, very specific on this matter. I had asked a question earlier on which you did not answer. Now, I want to take you specifically to what you've presented us here. In your response to our questions, you indicated that the government paid out 50,000 to 46 families and 50,000 to 7 families. Was that your statement? Yes, the question is very clear. I want to know whether the money that the national government gave is different from the money which was dispersed through Red Cross to the families. Because any information we present here has got to be factual, Ms. Bonasias. Because based on what I can see here, it is very clear. It says that 149 people were given 30,000 shillings, 65 people were given 50,000 shillings, and 9 people were given 100,000. So if you could respond to that specifically, it would be very, very important for this committee. The other issue, Chair, is that I know this issue of the chief is something very, very important, and the issue of the county commissioner. In the last sitting in this house, where we had the CAS, Chair, you gave directives on what should be done in terms of what was reported by this committee to your ministry, or through your CS, that a few individuals were found complicit. And there are specific directives that you gave. So I'd like you to give directives on that, because I know the CS is requesting for 30 days, which I think is completely out of time, because the reason why Mr. Matiangi were focusing on this matter is because we're here for the interest of the people of Solai. The question that I'd ask is whether or not the scene was preserved. Thank you.
Thank you, CS. So that you can answer all of them comprehensively, I'll give you the dates in a few. This event, where your officers, national government officials, paid out 35 million, is 28th of June, 2018. Just make a note somewhere. That event has been confirmed by Mr. Perry Mansukh, number 1. We have statements from witnesses, number 2, 3. In fact, there are some people who have, in fact, gone to court to say they were put under duress. The matter is in Naivasha. Number 4, the Director of Public Prosecutions was here. He's about to charge one of those officials. So it's 7 days, 30 days is too long for purposes of this issue. And for our recommendations and restoration of Solai, and for the security of the poor residents of people who have lost their relatives. These people are so powerful. I wish you would read, and I would like your team to look for the report done by the Kenya Human Rights Commission on the questions of, just forget about the security, mistreatment of laborers. It has details. Mr. Perry Mansukh is a god in Solai. And you must deal with this fellow. Because if you don't, then we have a crisis. In the same report we have received, Bwana Waziri, and this is a comment so that as you to understand the gravity, there were reports to your officers that Solai Dam was leaking. It's called Milmet Dam, before the tragedy. To your officers. So if action had been taken, we would have prevented the loss of 48 lives. So this matter is so serious, it's so gravitas, grievous, that we would like you to give us a solution as quickly as possible, because if the order is please restore Solai using provincial administration and your ministry through the authority which will be implemented by them, then you realize that we are compromised. And before Red Cross, who have confirmed they have received $1 billion shillings from government to resettle or rebuild Solai, this issue ought to be addressed in totality. They confirmed to us. Maybe you can say something to what, and the part of the questions that have been addressed by them.
All right, and that is happening right now, and it's Dr. Matiang'i, the CS for Internal Security, before the Senate on the Solai tragedy probe and the dam. Remember, there has been several things that have been outstanding, and one of those being the fact that Dr. Matiang'i had not made himself available to appear before the Senate. And even now, as he appears, he seems to be asking for more time, which the Senate is not having much of, through the Senator for Narok County, that's Ledama Olekina, basically saying that time is far spent and it is time that we got solutions. There are also quite a number of hard questions that the CS seems not to have had answers in regards to. He's also gone to the extent of asking for a session in camera, which the senators feel is not necessarily necessary, given the fact that this is a public matter. And what we've just had now is the chair, and that's Dr. Mutula Jr., basically saying that the gravitas of this issue is too weighty for us to wait anymore. 48 lives lost, and for the CS to be asking for more time. He's had quite an amount of time. Some of the questions that, of course, were being asked is whether the scene where the tragedy took place was preserved as a crime scene, which the CS, again, did not give a direct answer as to whether it was done. In fact, he went to the extent of saying that he may not have a clear information as whether that is what happened. He said that if it was not kept as a crime scene, then it is unfortunate. Again, not a very clear answer right